Good morning. This is cause number 2022-24986 in the interest of Elizabeth Delgado Salazar, Hugo and Justin, Delgado and Justin Delgado Salazar. All parties and witnesses, please raise your right hand to be sworn.
Este es el caso 2022-24986 en el interés de Elizabeth Guadalupe Delgado Salazar, Hugo Delgado y Justin Delgado Salazar. Por favor, levante la mano derecha para ser jurada.
You solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
¿Jura decir la verdad, toda la verdad delante de Dios?
Sí.
Yes.
All right, please state your name and your relationships to the children.
Por favor, diga su nombre y la relación de usted a los niños.
Mi nombre es Kenny María Salazar Martínez, soy su mamá.
My name is Kenny Maria Salazar Martinez, and I am the mother.
And representing the State of Texas Attorney General's Office.
Luis Regla.
Y representando el estado de Texas, Luis Regla.
Court will note that Hugo Cesar Delgado Noriega is the non-custodial parent father.
La corte toma nota que el papá sin custodia es Hugo César Delgado Noriega, el papá.
He was personally served on August 17th, 2022 at 8:21 a.m.
Le dieron los papeles de servicio personalmente agosto 17 de 2022 a las 8:21 de la mañana.
At 1323 White Road, Apartment 209, Houston, Harris County, Texas.
En la dirección 1323 White Road, apartamento 209, Houston, Condado de Harris, Texas.
And he has not filed an answer or made an appearance. Is that correct, Mr. Regla?
That's correct, Judge.
Y no ha hecho una respuesta o aparecido. ¿Es correcto, señor Regla? Correcto.
We'll proceed by default.
Vamos a proceder en de facto.
Thank you, Judge. I'll call the mother as a witness.
Llamamos a la mamá de testigo.
Ma'am, when your 3 children were born that you have with Mr. Delgado, the father signed paperwork for all 3 of them saying he's biological father, correct?
Cuando nacieron los 3 niños, el papá firmó documentos indicando que él es el papá. ¿Es correcto?
Sí.
Yes.
Okay, and y'all used to live together, but you separated September of last year, is that right?
Y ustedes vivían juntos y se separaron septiembre del año pasado. ¿Es correcto?
Correcto.
Correct.
Since then, you've been able to continue to co-parent with the father and raising these children together, is that right?
Desde esa fecha usted y el papá han compartido con los niños, los derechos de los niños y
Sí.
yes.
And he's been able to see his kids a couple of times a month since then, is that true?
Y él ha visto los niños varios días por mes, ¿es correcto?
Ajá, sí.
Yes.
So going forward, you're requesting to be joint managing conservators with the father, and you have the right to determine where they live in Harris and surrounding counties. Is that correct?
Y usted está pidiendo ser conservadores gerentes compartidos con el papá y usted decide dónde viven los niños, ¿es correcto?
Sí.
Yes.
And you're fine with him having the standard possession order first, third, and fifth weekend?
¿Y usted está de acuerdo que el papá tenga las visitaciones estándar el primero, tercero y quinto fin de semana de cada mes?
Sí.
Yes.
The father, in the past, he has worked as a painter. Is that correct?
El papá en el pasado ha trabajado de pintor, ¿es correcto?
Sí.
Yes.
Today, we don't have proof to show the judge of the father's income. Is that correct?
Pero ahora no tenemos prueba comprobante qué tanto, para enseñar a la corte qué tanto gana el señor, ¿es correcto?
Así es, sí.
That is it, correct?
So today, we're asking the court to use minimum wage, $7.25 an hour, 40 hours a week for the father's income. Would you agree with that?
So estamos pidiendo que la corte haga los ingresos del señor al salario mínimo,
Sí.
¿es correcto? Yes.
These are his only 3 children.
¿Y estos son los únicos 3 niños que él tiene?
Sí.
Yes.
And there is no private health insurance for the kids. Is that correct?
Y a este momento no hay aseguranza privada para los niños, ¿es correcto?
Correcto.
Correct.
So you agree with the state, the court should order guideline child support of 30% against the father's net income.
¿Usted está de acuerdo que la corte ordene el porcentaje de los ingresos del señor al 30% basado en lo que dice la ley?
Sí.
Yes.
And continue to allow you to apply for the Medicaid for your kids.
¿Y que usted aplique para la aseguranza del Estado por el programa Medicaid?
Sí.
Yes.
For the father to pay $88 a month medical support for the Medicaid beginning January 1st, 2023.
Y que el papá reembolse el Estado $88 por el gasto médico empezando el 1 de enero 2023?
Sí.
Yes.
And that means the child support for the father should be $316 per month, also to begin January 1st, 2023 for all three kids.
Y la manutención para los 3 niños serían 316 empezando el 1 de enero 2023. ¿Es correcto?
Sí.
Yes.
In the past, the father has been giving you money, so you're not asking for retroactive child support, correct?
En el pasado, el señor ya ha estado dando manutención, so usted no está pidiendo manutención retroactiva. ¿Es correcto?
Correcto.
Correct.
And do you think today's court order is the best thing for your three children?
¿Y usted está de acuerdo que esta orden sería en el mejor interés de sus niños?
Sí.
Yes.
And are you asking the judge to approve of the court order today against
Yes, that-
Mr. Delgado?
Y usted está pidiendo a la corte que confirme esta orden contra el señor Delgado.
Sí.
Yes.
Judge, I pass the witness.
Paso a este testigo.
All right, the court will approve the order submitted. Thank you.
La corte va a aprobar esta orden como fue sometida. Muchas gracias.
Ok, gracias.
Parties excused.
Thank you, Judge. Ok, señor Martínez, ya puedes desconectar. Que tenga buen día.
Ok, gracias.
Adiós. Thank you, Arnold.
Yo-
Yes, sir. Good morning. This is cause number 2022-42316 in the interest of Damon Villarreal. All parties and witnesses, please raise your right hands to be sworn. You solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, I do.
Ms. Vergara?
Yes, sir.
All right, ma'am, please state your name and your relationship to the child.
Samantha Villarreal, I'm his mother.
All right, and sir, your name and your relationship to the child.
Devontae, sir, I'm his father.
All right, and representing the state of Texas Attorney General's office.
Vita Sharma for the state, Your Honor.
All right, counsel, your name and who you represent.
Heidi Oriana, and I represent Samantha Villarreal.
All right, Ms. Sharma, we've got an original petition and a suit affecting parent-child relationship with an acknowledgement of paternity. We're having a hearing, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do we have any stipulations?
Your Honor, the stipulations are that the father, Mr. Singletary, agrees to pay child support in the amount of $366 a month and health insurance to be carried by the mom, and Mr. Singletary to reimburse that at $100 a month.
Are those the only stipulations?
That's the only thing we got to at this point, Your Honor. Yes.
So the issues are managing conservatorship,
Yes, and visitation. Possession and access.
All right.
And Your Honor, if I may,
Yes.
mother also has a counter petition on file that's been served on Mr. Singletary.
Okay. Does that change anything?
No, Your Honor, just the request for conservatorship is still at issue and visitation as well.
Okay. So those are, in fact, the issues.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Issues. All right, let's proceed.
Yes, Judge, I would like to call Mr. Singletary the father.
All right.
Mr. Singletary, did you file an application for child support services with the state of Texas?
Yes, ma'am.
And why did you do that?
Because I don't have basically the rights to see my son. I want to see him.
And are you agreeing to visit your child under supervised visits because the child is under 3?
No,
How would you like visitation to happen with your child?
I would like to basically just receive him or get every weekend, if that's possible.
And have there been any allegations of you consuming any drugs or alcohol?
Allegations? What do you mean by that, ma'am?
Has Miss Villarreal, the mother, accused you of using drugs or alcohol?
Yeah, that's been an issue. Yes.
Have you ever been arrested for drugs or alcohol possession?
No, ma'am.
Have you ever received a DWI?
No, ma'am.
Have you taken any parenting classes since the birth of your child?
No, ma'am.
Do you believe that you could effectively watch your child and care for your child if given overnight visits?
Yes, ma'am.
And if the court did order you to have supervised visits, who would you want to supervise those visits?
Like someone? You mean someone like family or someone in the mother's family?
Anyone? Do you have someone in your family who could supervise those visits?
I have a roommate, which is
Okay. And do you understand that with the child being under the age of 3, oftentimes the court will do a modified visitation schedule?
yes, ma'am. I'm aware of that.
Okay. And what type of conservatorship are you asking the court to order today? Joint conservatorship or sole conservatorship where the mom would have possession of the child?
I guess joint.
And why would you prefer joint conservatorship?
Because it's not. I'm not trying to take him from her. I just want my son in my life. I don't want to take any rights from her, from the mother. I just want, to see my son, pretty much. That's just the bottom line.
And you have already stipulated that you will pay child support and medical support. Is that correct?
Ma'am.
And have you provided any direct financial support to the mother since the birth of your child?
Not that I know of.
All right. Is that another issue? Sharma?
Yes, on retroactive child support. Yes, Judge.
All right. You didn't indicate that at the beginning.
I apologize, Judge. And Mr. Singletary, is there anything else that you need to add?
No. Well, I've heard there were allegations on me misusing drugs, which are not true, and I was told that I had to take a drug test, which is outrageous.
Objection, hearsay.
Understand.
Okay, and that's all that you're asking for, Mr. Singletary, is visits with your child, and you agree to pay. Okay, thank you,
Yes.
Judge. I pass this witness.
Ms. Laureano.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Singletary, you're admitting that you're the father of the child, correct?
Ma'am.
And neither you nor Ms. Villarreal has ever contested that you are the child of this father, correct?
No, ma'am, we haven't.
Okay. And sir, since the birth of the child, have you provided any food or clothing to the child?
No.
Okay. And isn't it correct that you provided girls' clothing for the child who is a boy?
No, ma'am, not that I know of.
And isn't it correct that you provided formula that used to belong to your niece in the form of, sorry, that used to belong to your niece to the mother?
Yes, I believe she has some left over and I gave it to her. Yes, ma'am.
And that's been your form of support, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And you've probably given the mother about $50 here or there, correct? In total?
Correct.
And sir, you testified that you do not use drugs, but isn't it correct that you post on your social media of yourself smoking?
Well, I didn't confess that I didn't. I just don't abuse them.
Okay, so you do use drugs, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And specifically, you smoke marijuana pretty regularly, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And you smoke that marijuana by yourself and sometimes with your roommates, correct?
Yes, ma'am. By myself or roommate, yes, ma'am.
Okay, and this is the roommate that you're requesting to be the supervisor of your visitations, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And sir, would you agree that when you smoke marijuana that it makes you very slow?
Yes, correct.
Okay, and don't you think that that would be an issue when it comes to a child that's under the age of 3?
Yes, ma'am.
And wouldn't you agree that that would still be an issue even for a child over the age of 3?
Yes, ma'am.
And sir, do you understand the concern of appointing one of your roommates as a supervisor if they also smoke with you?
I guess so, yes, ma'am.
Okay, and is there someone other than a roommate that would be able to supervise the visitation?
My aunt,
Okay, and what's your aunt's name, sir?
Kim Johnson.
Kim Johnson, you said?
Ma'am.
Okay, and she lives in the Houston area, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
And does she have any criminal history or drug history?
No, ma'am.
And has she ever met the child?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, how many times has she met the child?
Once.
And how many times have you met the child?
I don't have a specific number, but I've seen my. Yes, ma'am.
Is it less than 5 times?
It's more than 5 times.
It's more than 5. Is it less than 10 times?
More than 10 times.
Okay, and sir, you've never seen the child unsupervised, correct?
Yes, ma'am. That's correct.
And Ms. Villarreal has been the one that's reached out to you to see your son, correct?
No, she has not.
Okay, she didn't recently send you text messages to try and get you to see your son in the past few months?
Yeah, a couple times, maybe twice. And the last.
Okay, and sir, do you believe that the amount of child support and medical support is in the child's best interest?
Yes, I believe that. Yes, ma'am.
And sir, if the court was to grant supervised visitations, do you understand that your supervised visitation could take place at the domestic relations office?
Why is that?
Do you understand that that's a possibility?
No, ma'am, I don't.
Okay, so are you aware that the domestic relations office does supervise visitations?
No.
Are you aware?
Is there some type of violence involved in this family, Miss Oriana?
No, it's the drug use, Your Honor, and I'll
Well, no. Okay. All right. The DRO is out of the question.
Okay, and sir, if you were to have access to the child, would you agree that it should be supervised at all times?
No.
Would you agree that you should provide a zero tolerance drug test in order to gain unsupervised access of your child?
No.
And sir, are you asking this court to grant you access to the child after stating testimony that you do actively smoke marijuana regularly?
I just don't see the issue in that, but I guess so.
Is that a yes, sir?
Can you repeat the question again?
Yes. Are you asking this court to grant you unsupervised visitation, even though you've testified that you smoke marijuana regularly?
Sure.
Thank you. I pass the witness, Your Honor.
Ms. Sharma?
Yes, Judge, I'd like to call the mother, Miss Samantha Villarreal.
All right.
Good morning, Miss Villarreal. You understand that Mr. Singletary filed this application for support, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And can you tell the court how your child is covered under health insurance?
He currently has Medicaid.
And you intend to maintain that health insurance for your child, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you asking for any back child support?
No, ma'am.
Okay,
So there is no retroactive question. Is that correct, Ms. Laureano?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay, so that's not an issue. All right.
yes, Judge, thank you. I just needed clarification on that, so I apologize early
That's
for my
fine.
earlier mistake. And Ms. Villarreal, how old is your child now?
He is going to be 20 months.
And you are asking the court to allow Mr. Singletary to have visits with the child as long as they're supervised?
Yes, ma'am.
And at what age would you like these visits to continue to be supervised?
I'd like him to be supervised until he provides that zero tolerance drug test.
And if you are not ordered to do the DRO, which the judge already said he would not, do you have a family member or a friend who can supervise those visits?
If I have a family member, yes, ma'am.
And who is that person?
Most likely my mother.
And
All
where
right,
would
hold on. Ma'am, would you be available to supervise?
Myself, yes, sir.
Yes, okay. So, Mr. Singletary, if s- s- supervision is ordered, that's fine with you. Is that the way you've been visiting the child, with the mother supervising the visits?
Yes, sir.
Would you have any objections to the mother supervising the visits if that was ordered?
I'm fine with her. I just
All right. Okay. I understand you don't want supervised visitation, but okay. So we'll cut that short. Okay,
Thank
let's
you,
go.
Judge. And my last question, Ms. Villarreal, are you asking for sole managing conservator or joint conservatorship?
Sole managing.
Thank you, Judge. I pass this witness.
Well, you need to develop that. Why are you asking for sole managing conservator, Ms. Vega?
Because from even conception, I've been making every decision for Damien.
All right. Do you all talk about the decisions regarding the child?
He hasn't shown any interest in making any decisions for him.
Do you communicate with him in a civilized way?
Yes, sir.
All right. So would there be any reason why you couldn't communicate with him regarding certain decisions with the child?
I guess the only reason would be him not answering or showing an interest in a certain subject at the time.
Okay, but you don't know that would have particularly happen, do you?
I'm not sure, sir.
Okay. All right. Ms. Soriano, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Villarreal, you too are not denying that Mr. Singletary is the father of the child.
That's a stipulation, Ms. Soriano. That's all stipulated now.
Okay, I apologize. Then I'll move on, Your Honor.
Child support, cash medical support, paternity is all stipulated.
Thank you, Your Honor. And ma'am, you testified that you're asking for sole managing conservatorship, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And in addition to the fact that you've been caring for the child for all of this time, what are other reasons you're asking for sole managing conservatorship?
The main reason would be his drug abuse.
Okay, and ma'am, when it comes to drug abuse, how do you know that Mr. Singletary abuses drugs?
Prior from conception, I would visit his apartment and I'd see him smoking with his roommates or alone with me.
He's admitted to it, Ms. Soriano.
And Ms. Villarreal, has Mr. Singletary given you any information that causes you concern regarding his marijuana use and the child?
Yes, ma'am. In the beginning, first couple of months, whenever Damien was maybe roughly 3 months, he admitted to me that he was in his vehicle smoking, and in the backseat he had his niece.
And what happened according to what Mr. Singletary told you about smoking in the car with the child?
As far as him having the smoke fill the car and just having the environment pretty bad with marijuana for the niece.
And then did he tell you what he did thereafter?
Oh, like he fell asleep? I'm sorry.
Okay, and how old was that niece?
I'm not sure.
Okay, and are you concerned that that could happen with your child in the car?
Yes, ma'am.
And when you've seen Mr. Singletary smoke marijuana, what type of action?
He'd just be a bit delayed or slower in his movements.
Okay, and does that cause you concern when it comes to caring for the child?
Yes, ma'am.
And ma'am, you're asking to also have the exclusive rights to all of the decision making?
Yes, ma'am.
And has Mr. Singletary ever attended an appointment with you, medical, psychiatric, or dental?
No, ma'am.
And are you opposed to keeping him informed about all of those appointments?
No, ma'am.
And ma'am, for those reasons that you stated, is that why you're requesting supervised visitations?
Yes, ma'am.
And the judge has already asked you, and you're not opposed to you being the one that supervises those visitations, correct?
Yes, ma'am. I'm not.
And ma'am, if the judge was to say that you don't meet the burden for sole managing conservatorship, are you asking to be appointed joint managing conservators?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you still requesting that you have the exclusive right to make the decision after consulting with Mr. Singletary?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you believe that though that would be either request, it would be in the best interest of the children?
Yes, ma'am.
And ma'am, are you also requesting that the court grant certain injunctions?
Yes, ma'am.
Specifically that neither you or Mr. Singletary are allowed to threaten or cause any injury to each other, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And that neither you or Mr. Singletary communicate with each other outside of anything concerning the child?
Yes, ma'am.
And that neither you or Mr. Singletary interfere with the in any other way with possession of the child, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And ma'am, are you also asking for the court to order y'all to sign up for a parenting app?
Yes, ma'am.
And why are you asking for a parenting app, ma'am?
So that our communication can be monitored, as well as I believe that certain app has the schedule posted so we can both be on track, I guess.
And what app are you requesting?
Our Family Wizard.
And do you believe that that would be in the child's best interest?
Yes, ma'am.
And I pass the witness, Your Honor.
Ms. Sharma?
May I object? Your
Hold
Honor?
on a minute. Hold on a minute. Hold on. Ms. Sharma, you have any further questions of Ms. Villarreal?
I do not, Your Honor.
Mr. Singletary, do you have any questions of Ms. Villarreal?
Who might that be? The lawyer, Your Honor?
I'm sorry?
Is that the lawyer? Is that her lawyer?
That's the mother,
My-
Villarreal.
I've never told her that I fell asleep.
No. Wait a minute. Listen to my question. Do you have any questions for her? I'm going to let you say something later, but do you have any questions for her right now? She is on the witness stand. You represent yourself. You're allowed to ask her questions about this case.
I have questions.
You-
Yes, I have questions, yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
So back in December, when I was trying my hardest to be in his life, were you not telling me you didn't want me in his life and you wanted me to like stop trying and to like you were pushing me away from
Wait a
him?
minute. Wait. One question at a time. So, and during that period, Ms. Villarreal, did you tell him that you didn't want him in his life, in your child's life?
I told him that if he didn't want to show like any interest, then he didn't have to be in his life. I didn't specifically say
Right.
do not be in his life.
All right. Mr. Singletary. Another question?
All I can think of right now, Your Honor, my head's all over the place.
All right. Ms. Oriana, anything further? All
Your Honor.
right. Mr. Singletary, anything further you want to say? Now you have the opportunity to make your final argument.
Okay, Your Honor, I tried so hard, at least verbally. I can't go to anyone's house or pop up or, hey, give me my son. I can't, I wasn't raised like that. All I could do is say, hey, what's the issue? Can you solve it? We got to a point to where we couldn't verbally speak anymore, or she thought I wasn't trying. And the fact that she would say that I fell asleep, or I even told her that is a lie. I've never even fell asleep driving before, let alone smoke when my niece was in the car. I smoke in the car, Your Honor, no lie there, but not when my niece is in the car. And I never fell asleep. And I don't know, I just feel cornered by the questions these lawyers giving me. And it's like, that makes sense, because all I wanted to do was just be in my son's life from the jump. And I felt that everything had to be done either her way or her parents' way. I don't have any support on my end. I stay with just me and my roommate. I don't have my parents. I don't have anything. And I was looking forward to being a great father. Now, it was times where I fell asleep, I work overnight, so I sleep during the day. That's the only time I can sleep. And I don't respond to her fast enough or quick enough, or I maybe don't show enough interest in her eyes, but I always want to be in his life. And I heard it when she told me, and she told me that she didn't want me in his life. It was no, if this and that or nothing. That's what she told me. I've always kept it cordial between the mother of my child. I've never even got loud, disrespectful. I always say, hey, what's the problem? Let's talk, let's work it out. It got to a point to where it was no more talking. And I tried to let it be, but I kept just wanting to be in my son's life. So I put myself on child support after a while of not being in his life. Yes, Your Honor, I do smoke. Yes, that's how I cope, I guess. But that's the only drug I do, and I can very well maintain it, and I'm not abusing it. And I will never, ever smoke around my son.
Ms. Oriana, anything further?
No questions for this witness, Your Honor.
All right. Court orders finds that these orders are in the best interest of the child. Mother and father appointed joint managing servitors. Father is ordered to have modified possession and access for 10 periods each, with the mother as the supervisor when required. Thereafter, standard possession order. Father is ordered not to use drugs or alcohol for 8 hours prior to or during the possession of the child. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes, sir, I do.
All other stipulations are approved. Anything further?
Nothing further from you, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Oriana.
Your Honor, if I can just get clarification, I understand it's JMC, but rights and duties, I didn't catch that.
Regular duties, joint managing conservators is what I ordered. Joint managing conservators.
Okay, so it's oh my God.
It's in the code, ma'am.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Are we excused?
Yes.
Thank you.
Well,
Judge.
Ms. Sharma, you're going to have to tell them what
Yes,
they need
Judge.
to do, okay?